Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to paint this easy, simple and mini landscape, and in this video I am using this A6 size watercolor sheet cold pressed 30% cotton. So let's start with today's video. So I'm using masking tape because I'm going to use lots of water today, and it is better to keep and to secure your sheet with the help of masking tape. So with the help of bigger brush, I'm trying to apply a lots of water around my sheet, around the sky area basically, and I'm using cobalt blue color to paint the sky. My sheet is wet. I'm using diluted cobalt blue color, and you will see a nice transition of blue to the lighter blue color as you are moving towards the downward direction. And in the bottom area I'm using green color, lighter shade of green. First we are trying to create a background, so that is what we are doing here. And now I'm using Indian yellow color, and I'm just trying to paint the ground area. And around the corner you can have little darker color, mixing it with little bit of green into it. And before my sky area gets dried completely, I need to finish it first. So in the wet sheet itself I'm applying little darker shade of cobalt blue color itself, and I'm creating some kind of cloud kind of patch in here. So you can just create some random pattern of sky with darker shade of cobalt blue. So for the base we have used a lighter shade, diluted color, and to create the cloud I'm using little darker color in the wet sheet itself. And you can have some random pattern like this. Make sure in between area have lighter color itself, and then you can also try to lift little bit of color using dry brush technique. So you just clean your brush and dry it and try to lift little bit of color wherever you want to make it little lighter and white. Now I need little grayish shade as well around my sky area to make it little more dramatic, you can say. So I'm using very lighter shade of gray going around the base of the darker blue color that I have, but don't overdo this particular step, otherwise your sky won't look good. So I have applied little bit of gray, and I'm trying to lift little bit of color in between because I also want white area into my sky. So that is something I did for this sky area, and I think I'm pretty much done and I'm happy. Now let's do another part. So I'm applying this grayish greenish kind of color around the base like this, and I'm also trying to create some trees which are at distance. So all these trees are in lighter color, and basically these are the distance trees which we are seeing. So I just want to keep it on the lighter side itself. So this is the base that I have created for today's landscape. The color combination is totally up to you, like how you like to see your landscape. You can change the sky color, you can change the ground area, it's totally up to you. Now let it dry for some time, and in the dry sheet we are going to do the foreground element for this particular landscape. So to expedite the process I am using my hair dryer. Now our background is ready. Now we can do some foreground element. So with the help of green color, so you can have your own green shade mixing yellow and blue together. So I am creating something like this in here, mixing Indian yellow color and blue color together, and then I'm just going around my foliage area in between the land and the sky area that we have. So these are the foliages or bushes that we are able to see, which is again at distance only, and little bit of green color in between the land as well. Some random strokes needed to paint this particular area to get little green color, and make sure you're not hiding the yellow color that we have. So basically some random pattern you can try here. So little lighter color, little darker color of green you can try in between these area to make the land, to make the nice ground kind of effect. I don't want to hide the yellow color, so we should have little lighter shade of green, darker shade of green, yellow color and all these. And with the tip of your brush, just start spreading the color in the horizontal direction so that you can have little grass kind of pattern around the ground area. So a little bit of grassy effect in between this whole area that we have. So some horizontal stroke is needed, some random stroke is needed in here. Now with the help of brown color, so you can make this brown color mixing all the three primary colors together, depend on which color you are using more. But before moving into the next step, make sure your sheet have dried completely, otherwise the brown color will spread eventually and it won't look good. So make sure your sheet have dried. Again, I'm using hair dryer. Now let's paint some foreground trees. These are the main element for today's landscape. So I'm creating some random trees like this, creating some random longer strokes, having some kind of tree kind of pattern. You can say you can have sub branches as well, and you can have some tiny branches too. So I'm going to add multiple trees in here, and because these are the main element, we need to do it very nicely. So to make it more realistic, make sure you are doing some crisscross between the trees and the tree branches. It is very important step to make it look like a real tree. And I'm also adding a bit of brown color at the base and mixing it with the green color that we have already, so that we are not seeing any tree hanging around the base. So something like this I did for my tree area. Make sure you are using a little darker color at one side of the tree, and we are going to paint some white at another side of the tree. Now these are the main trees. Now I am trying to have some tiny branches from in between, and these are the fine branches. So I'm using tip of my brush, moving it randomly to create some random pattern like this. So basically no rule as such, you can create some crisscross pattern around these tree branches. All the branches are coming from all the trees that you have and having some crisscross kind of effect here. And we are creating some tree branches around the sky area as well. So how beautiful this is, right? I'm absolutely liking it. You can have different kind of tree for sure. You can have the same kind of background but different kind of tree at the foreground to make it a little different. But this is the easiest tree for sure, because we are not creating any kind of leaf, any kind of green branches, nothing like that, just simple tree kind of pattern, and that's it. And I'm doing few trees at another side as well. Make sure trees should look like the part of the ground itself, so make sure you're adding a little bit of color at the base as well, and just a hint of brown color here and there at the ground area. Now at one side of the tree I'm using black color to make it more darker. So little bit of black color at one side of the tree, and at another side I'm going to use concentrated white color, because I don't have acrylic color as of now with me, so that is why I'm using concentrated color of white watercolor. but if you have acrylic color or gouache color, I think that is better to use. And I'm applying this white color in between my tree trunk like this, and in between the smaller tree branches that you have, you can add a little bit of white color there as well to finish. So that's all I needed for this particular landscape. So I'm pretty much happy with everything whatever I have. And now the final part is removing the masking tape. So remove it very slowly and carefully, and you will see a beautiful landscape at the end. So I hope this video is easy and simple to follow. Please do let me know if you have any kind of feedback for me, and thank you so much for watching my videos. See you all in the next video with one more simple tutorial.